Okay, welcome back to the second video. In this video, we should be able to hopefully get the the other two sides or walls, we'll call them, and the roof. So let's get this show on the road again from the beginning. File, document properties, drag it in so you can see it, inches, inches, and we'll go ahead and just go with our 15 by 15 again. And close it, and we should be good. Once again, zoom to fit window, and here we go. We basically, we're going to need a 6 by 7. So let's get a box, drag it out, and our width needs to be 7, and our height needs to be 6. Okay, and what we're going to do on one of the walls is we're going to create 2 windows. This will be our greenhouse wall. Let's start with that. As a matter of fact, yeah, it's easy enough to just do it. Okay, anyway, let's go ahead and get those windows in there. Click on that, and let's go ahead and let's just eyeball the windows. We could go with the specific dimension, but that looks good to me. And if you want, you can just select it. Either go to edit. There's different ways of doing it, but edit, copy, click off of it, edit, paste. Of course, I put it way over here, which is not really where I want it, but you can do it that way. What I want you to do is space them out so they look pretty good, and they're even, about like that. So good enough. We could actually, I could give you measurements and so forth, but just eyeball it as long as it looks pretty good. Okay. So let's go ahead and save this one. File, save as, make sure it's on the desktop. We're going to call it greenhouse wall. Or actually, you know what? Let's be consistent with what the manual, I think they call it an annex. This curriculum we're working with, I think it's coming out of Germany. Anyway, they call it an annex. But anyway, it's this little area where you could set up a greenhouse for vegetables or like a little sunroom. So we're going to call it the annex. Let's call it annex wall. And again, put your name so that you know it's yours. Save it. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and go to File, Save As, okay, because I'm going to make a duplicate wall, but I'm going to make some modifications. And this one we'll call the back wall. So I'm just going to rename it back wall. So now we have 2 of the same files, but on our back wall, we want to change it. So we'll do that. We're going to select it, delete that, and we want 1 window. So let's click on this, and I'm going to modify it. Maybe make it a little bit smaller. Let's move it into position. They want it about right here. Okay, looks good enough to me. Make sure yours looks similar, because remember, we're going to be cutting this out of cardboard. Okay, so now we made some changes, so we're going to save that, and it will be saved as our back wall. All right, let's go ahead and go to Close. We're going to create the 2 roof pieces. File, Document Properties, do the same thing again. I'm sure there's probably a way where we can change this so it's always this way, but anyway, I don't know how to do that. So we'll just quickly change it each time. Go 1515 again. Looks good to me. Close it. Our little button again. Zoom in on it. And our roof pieces need to be 8.5 by 6 3/4 for one of them. Okay. So we'll start with the greenhouse roof. This is the roof that's going to cover the the annex. Greenhouse / annex. So that's 8.5 by 6 3/4. So let's drag a square in. Boom. Let's resize it to a width of That was pretty close, actually. 8.50, which is 8.5, and 6 3/4, which is 6.75. Okay, and then once we click that, it should set it to those dimensions, and that's it. That's pretty much it. So let's save that file, save as, and we're going to call this the Annex roof, and then your name again, so you know it's yours. Save it. Okay, our back roof, which is our next piece. Let's just go ahead and go File, Save As. Instead of Annex roof, let's call it back roof. That's our name, which is good. And everything's going to be SVG, so that's kind of important. Everything needs to be SVG. Hopefully that's what it defaults to, and that should be good. Okay, now the dimensions are going to be different. So once it's selected, width and height. We don't want X and Y. Those are your X and Y coordinates. So let's choose a width of 8.5. Okay, 8.5 is the same. Our height is different though. It's 5. So click, drag, make it blue. Click 5. Enter. We're good to go. And we made changes, so we want to save that. Okay. So now what you will do is you will follow instructions, either via video or a manual, of how you can take this SVG file, bring it into the laser, okay? And the laser software is Retina Engrave, so we'll be able to open up this file into Retina Engrave, and then that software can talk to the laser, and you should be able to cut out your pieces. So look for either a video or a manual for the instructions of what to do next. So happy building, happy lasering.